Hey everyone, I know I'm making my video very late, practically, on the next day, but I just couldn't get much time to myself earlier, so I'm making it now anyway. Now, I've been meaning to do this for a while. I wanted to talk a bit about, games coming up and all that stuff. There's actually a few games that, I feel like checking out, but the problem right now is money, so and the fact that they're so close to release, like, oh, I'm just gonna focus on the one that I'm after right now, Resident Evil 6, which is excuse me, which doesn't even come until, like, you know, October, so, but even still, that's how little money I get right now to myself for games and all that, so I'm trying to be prepared for that one, because it's gonna be one of the big ones. And I'm not trying to get it just because it's one of the big ones. I'm trying to get it because I do like the series. Like, the story keeps me interested, and I'm glad they brought back some of the characters, like Sherry Birkin, for one. That's always been one of my favorite characters from the older games. Probably because that's a character that I can relate to. The fact it's like, wow, we were both kids, and now we're both adults. Something like that. um, but anyway, Max Payne and Dragon's Dogma came out recently, and I'm not really too sure about either of them. I mean, I've seen the previews for Dragon's Dogma, and it seems interesting, but I guess I need another opinion about it. Lollipop Chainsaw, that looks like, yeah, a fun game, and it's about basically like a high school girl dealing with zombies or something, so pretty much like a Buffy type of game. And that one comes like in 2 weeks from now or something, because I'm actually looking at the list, because that was given when I went to GameStop to put Resident Evil 6 on pre-order. um, what other games? I'm just giving you what I think might be good ones to check out. I'm not sure about the Amazing Spider-Man, but that's, at the end of June. There's Persona 4 Arena in August. What else? Darksiders 2 in August. Transformers Fall of Cybertron. That's actually a sequel to War for Cybertron. If you've played it, that game was good. Like, the actual game, which are based off of the cartoons, are better than the movie ones. Because I played Revenge of the Fallen, and it was an okay game, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel great. Like, it didn't feel entirely right for me. um, what other games? The Ratchet and Clank collection, also coming in, what, September? Like, it's, so if any of you want that, that's coming. The Zone of the Enders collection, also in September. That's another good one. Um, at least I've heard that's good, so I want to check it out. Um, Dead or Alive 5 at the end of September. Um, then there's October. There's Epic Mickey Part 2. Part 1 was for the Wii. Part 2, it seems to be going multi-platform between the Wii, the 360 Connect, and Move on PS3. Then there's Resident Evil 6, the one I'm waiting for. I can't wait because I mean, the game looks great, and the story looks well put together so far. So I'm kind of interested to see how all these scenarios will play out. All three, four scenarios, as well as the gameplay. BioShock Infinite. I've never played any of the BioShocks, but they do look interesting. And like they're actually hard to find because I would like to try them, you know, just to kind of get an understanding of what goes on in those games. Assassin's Creed 3, like, ooh, right in time for Halloween. Gets released soon. Then they have Little Big Planet karting, which is basically like a copycat version of, you know, Mario Kart, but with Little Big Planet. Like, it pretty much copies this. Think of anything racing and like with weapons like Mario Kart, you know, the PS1 Disney World Magical Racing Tour game. Um, Even the Crash Bandicoot Tag Team Racing PS1 game. And Mod Nation Racers. Okay. And then there's, you know, at the very end of the year, there's South Park, and in November there's Metal Gear Rising, and Little Big Planet Karting's actually in November too. By the way, Metal Gear Rising, they keep changing the date and all that, so it's like, okay, people are just like losing interest in it. I'm not even interested in it. I mean, because it looks like there's just so many changes to it that, you know, it doesn't seem like Metal Gear anymore. Um, and then there's a lot of the good games that are, you know, scheduled for more or less next year so far. Like, they don't have any official dates, but the dates are posted as, you know, next year, just to be placeholders. We have the new Tomb Raider. That's one of them. I hope that's like a good one because the demo and, you know, the trailers look good, and I love Tomb Raider, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I like all the news they've shared so far. Um, what else? They have Final Fantasy 14 because the PC version of it did horrible, so you know, they held back on the PS3 release, and they really wanted to kind of work and get it right. So that's supposedly next year, but we'll see what happens. Okay, there's Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. That the Sly Cooper games I've heard are fun, so that should be interesting for anyone into Sly Cooper. Aliens Colonial Marines. That I don't really like shooters, but that does look interesting because I like the whole sci-fi theme. So I may check it out just for that, and I have seen the movie, so I do know the story behind the aliens. I just, you know, I've never gotten to play an alien-related game. Not even the Aliens versus Predators game by Sega. um, The Last of Us, which I've seen the trailers and all, and I hope it's a good game because it just, to me, it seems almost like an Uncharted kind of rehashment, but with zombies in some form. I mean, they're not even making, you know, the girl character that's gonna be with the guy, with Joel, the guy, the entire time playable. So, I mean, that kind of takes away from, like, okay, I guess a teamwork experience because it would have been nice to have a co-op aspect to it if you're gonna have, you know, two people with each other the entire time like that. Um, what other games? Oh yeah, there's PlayStation All Stars Battle-Royale for next year. That's basically like a PS3 version of Super Smash Bros. If anyone knows the Super Smash Bros. Series, that is what the game will be like, but with PlayStation characters, and I hope it turns out good because did pick some of the great characters. Like they did pick Kratos. They picked an Old Snake from Metal Gear 4. They picked Uncharted Drake. Um, they picked Nathan Drake, I already said that. Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, because he was one of the great PlayStation icons. Parappa the Rapper, which sounds funny, but I'm interested to see how that works out. Those are a few characters off the top of my head, but that I could think of right now. But that's not that bad of a selection. God of War Ascension. I wonder how that turns out. Because I heard 3 was good, but at the same time disappointing because it was too short. um, what else? Rainbow Six Patriots. I don't play shooters much, so I probably won't be getting that, but I hope people that do enjoy it. And there's another one I'm looking forward to, Tekken Tag Tournament 2. It's like finally another Tekken Tag Tournament game. Because I remember owning the original Tekken Tag Tournament, and those were amazing. And I did get the HD remastered version for PS3 when I got Tekken Hybrid limited edition. I mean, that was the sole reason I got it, but knowing that Tekken Hybrid is a bundle, a movie and game bundle. I also got the Tekken Blood Vengeance CG movie because of that, and I enjoyed that movie. I watched it like 12 times, both in Japanese and in English. And both versions are actually very good. Like, they're almost identically done. I mean, of course the Japanese cast is amazing, but the English cast, like, actually surprised me. Like, they put so much effort into it that, it came out good. Like, it may sound awkward at first because most of the characters they picked for the movie are usually talking in Japanese when you hear them, so that part might seem awkward when you hear them in English, but you get around it and it gets better. The story of the Blood Vengeance movie was actually written by a fan of the games, which happens to be the screenwriter from Cowboy Bebop, Dai Sato. He's actually been well known for that, and he was given a lot of creative freedom with this. So he pretty much created this movie, Tekken Blood Vengeance. And if you like Cowboy Bebop, I would definitely recommend it because it's right up there. It's one of those great movies. Like, it's not an ongoing series, but it is a great 2-hour movie that it's done in a way that doesn't get too cheesy. Actually, doesn't get cheesy at all. Like, they make sure to do everything just right, and it has one character from that's well known in the universe of Tekken, and they're both of the characters are females because there's two main characters and they're both female. So the first one is Zhao, who's been around since Tekken 3, and then the second one's Alisa, who has only been around since Tekken 6. So it's about this friendship that they pretty much form. Like, they just meet up in a high school setting and then form this friendship. And at times, Alisa, since she acts so much like a human, you would forget she is an android. So it is a pretty interesting thing to see. It's a touching story. I can't lie. At times I almost felt like crying watching the movie. That's how much emotion it has in it. And one last game that might be great to check out is Crysis 3. If you checked out the first 2 Crysis games, then I'm probably sure you'll like this one. If it's done right, if not, let me know next year when you get it. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Is like, I'm looking forward to some of these games, and some of them, there's a lot of interesting names there. I just wanted to name a few, but hopefully I get to try some of them, I get to enjoy them, and other ones I'm not so sure about. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Get my thoughts on there. Like, I'm waiting for them. Some I'm excited about, some I don't know about, and whatnot. Anyway, comment, rate, and whatever, and have a good night, y'all.